You know, in some of my earliest memories, when I was a child, I can remember being in the playhouse in the next door neighbor's backyard. And it was sort of like a playhouse for children, I suppose, you know, a little wooden house. And I can remember being in that house with other children from the neighborhood and with the man that lived at the house, maybe another man. But the man who lived at the house was sort of directing the children in games to play. And I think they may have been sexual in nature, but I'm not sure about that exactly. And then sort of in my memory, it sort of jumps to about the age of 5 and being alone in that playhouse with that man and him telling me that he was going to do some abusive sort of acts to me. And, you know, he said, if you tell anyone about this, I will kill you, and I'll kill your parents, and I'll kill your family. And then the abuse happened after that. I can recall being absolutely petrified and absolutely frozen in fear. I couldn't speak and I couldn't move. So I was completely submissive to him out of terror, really. Terror, I thought I was going to die. It could have happened multiple times. It could have happened more than once. But in my mind now, I only remember the one time. That memory was sort of blocked from my consciousness as I grew up. I wasn't aware that it happened. You know, it sort of got tucked away. When I was 12, I was shown pornography for the first time. And I would say I was immediately addicted. And I believe that's very much connected to the events of my early childhood. There was a lot of darkness associated with that. The further I went into the behaviors, the addictive behaviors, the more depression, isolation, anger, self-hatred. I didn't know why I was angry yet, because I didn't have the memories yet. But I knew I was extremely angry. And I was very good at hiding this from people. It took a lot of energy from me. It was exhausting to be angry all the time. So I would get tired, exhausted, and it really caused my relationships with others to deteriorate. I wasn't really capable of having relationships with others because anger was blocking me from love, from giving love or receiving love from others, and certainly from God. And I could never face that fear by myself. I was terrified of it. I was terrified of what was inside of me. I was terrified of my past, of my childhood. What happened to me was people began to come into my life that would show me unconditional love. And they saw that I was very much hurting, and they saw that I was very wounded. But they accepted me as I was, and they showed me unconditional love from one person to another. It's in the context of those relationships of love that the memories came to the surface of my consciousness. The first step, in my experience, is to come to an awareness that you are loved, because love gave me a safe enough place to deal with those hurts from the past. I think that is the beginning, to recognize that you are loved. And then out of that awareness of being loved, you will become capable of moving towards forgiveness. So as I was trying to walk in this healing journey, healing from the abuse wounds, and I found Hopeful Hearts. I found their video testimonies. And the first one I watched was by a woman named Shannon Dietz, sharing her story. And when I heard her share her story, it gave me great hope. because I saw that healing was possible. So I knew I needed to stick around to hear others share how they forgave. And so listening to those people share their stories sort of ministered to my heart and my mind about what forgiveness can do for a person who is angry, how it can free them. And I knew that's where I wanted to be and wanted to go, but I didn't know if it would ever apply to my life. It just seemed so far away to me. Forgiveness was such an abstract, far away idea. What's crazy for me about forgiveness is that it has not only entirely changed my life, but it has brought me freedom from the pain of my childhood abuse. Sometimes I'd have trouble working, or I would have trouble sleeping at night because the pain was constant and it would sort of flare up. And after I forgave the first time, when I took that step, I went home and I slept in my bed for the first night and there was no pain. But now it's so funny because now I laugh all the time. And for me, for many years, I just didn't laugh. I didn't have joy or happiness or freedom or peace. And today I have these things in abundance every day. And so it's such a joy for me to live life now, to live life this way, to live in healing and freedom. And Hopeful Hearts was such a major part of the practicality of that journey for me, that journey into healing and freedom. My name is James, and I have a voice.